Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Super excited for another Money Marketing Monday with Nyala. Okay, so yes, you can hear me. Quick announcement while we wait for everyone to jump in. Our email actually just got sent out, so everyone should be trickling on in here. While we wait for everyone to come on in, quick couple of announcements. So number one, right now we're promoting the Master Your Marketing Summit for those of you who are new to our community. Because you register for the summit, welcome. I'm extremely happy to have you here. So basically what we do is every Monday we have Money Marketing Monday with Nyala, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. And I bring content that has everything to do with marketing, okay? How to market your business better so you can get more leads, and leads translate into sales, right? So that's what this is all about. And we'll be doing this every week leading up to the summit, all right? So the summit starts February 17th. Those of you who are our existing community members who have not gotten your free ticket yet, definitely do so. Definitely do so, okay? We have a lot of great speakers, a lot of good information that's going to be coming for the Master Your Marketing Summit, okay? All right, so let's jump in. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. As you guys come in, say good morning. Say good morning. I'm excited to talk about this because what I find is a lot of coaches struggle with positioning themselves. All right. A lot of coaches struggle with being in the position where people are messaging them, people are reaching out, people are saying, I want to know how I can work with you. Right. So the majority of coaches and service professionals are always on the other side of the coin. All right. So they're always on the other side of the coin begging for clients. All right. And what does begging for clients look like? If you're posting constantly for people to book appointments on social media, but they're not booking appointments, right? Or maybe you are getting people to book appointments, right? However, they're not the right people. So you're hearing a lot of no's. You're not getting the ideal clients that you're looking for. And a lot of times, this is where coaches find themselves. I know that this is where I found myself. Okay. And so today I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to do to position yourself so clients will self-select. So people will know exactly what you do, how you do it, and why they should be reaching out to you. Okay. All right. So you guys ready for this? Let's jump into it. You know what? Let me make sure that, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm good. All right. Okay, so take out your notepads, take out your pens. Let's jump in. The first thing that I'm going to share with you is what I like to call P. So there's an acronym here, okay? So it stands for, it's PAT. Write that down. PAT. So pat, like you're patting someone on the back. So PAT, I want you to write that down, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you what each one is, but then we're going to break it down exactly what you need to do to be able to accomplish this. Now, if you follow what I'm sharing with you today, then you will, and you be consistent with it, then you're going to find yourself in a position where you're attracting the right clients. Clients are coming to you. You have no problem. You know, you create predictability. This is another thing that's really important, right? So we got two sides of the coin. One set of you guys are not attracting people at all. You're not getting people to book consultations at all. But then we have the other side of you who you are, but it's just not the right people, right? So pay attention to what I'm saying here. So PAT, the P stands for positioning. So write that down, positioning, okay? The A stands for attract, because really that's where you want to be. You want to be in a position where you're attracting ideal clients, not you having to go after them. So a long time ago when I started back online in 2012, I was in a network marketing company. Okay. So the network marketing company was called It Works. And you guys know the company that sell the body wraps. It Works is really well known. So I remember that I would have to do a lot of prospecting in the beginning, which is how I got good at prospecting, really, was through network marketing. I would have to always be out there, you know, asking questions, DMing people, being sleazy, which really made me feel uncomfortable. But that's what they told you to do, you know, talk to 10 people a day, right? Talk to 10 people a day. Now, while I love networking, while I love being inquisitive and finding out more about people, that shouldn't be where you're relying to get clients. Does that make sense? Right? So I know exactly what it is to be in a position where you're begging for clients and you're in feast and famine and you're really not knowing where the next set of clients are going to come from. Okay. So PAT, one is positioning, that's P. Attract, that's the A, okay? And then the T is teach. That's my favorite part, teach. All right, so another good thing about what I'm gonna be sharing with you guys is for those of you who don't like to be salesy, for those of you who don't like to promote a lot, even though you need to start promoting because you're a business owner, but I know that some of you are inching your way into it. Sometimes there's mindset issues around there, confidence issues around there, right? And so you don't promote yourself as much as you should. For those of you who are in that position, that teach part is really going to help you, because there's really a way where you can self-select by just following this PAT that I'm going to share with you. Put yourself in a position where clients self-select, okay? So let's break down the P. So number one, the first thing you have to do is find out what position you're in now. So what position do you play right now? Because before you can position yourself where you become the only solution, you know, people know what you do, people know what to come to you for. Before you can position yourself, you got to know what position you're in. Does that make sense? Give me a 1 in the chat box if that makes sense for you, okay? All right, so you got to know what position you're in. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find out what position are you in? How are people perceiving you? So how do you do that? You ask, right? You ask. So you can ask social media wise, where you're asking in your groups or you're asking on your platforms, or you can actually reach out and ask, right? So instead of reaching out trying to get clients who's not really interested in your services, let's reach out and find out why, right? What do they think you do? Because before you can even position yourself, you got to know where you're at. So very recently, I have a client, and I'm not going to share her name or anything, but she is the bomb, okay? And before she came to me, she was already doing what she does, which is helping authors. But she wanted to move to a different realm. She wanted to work with a more higher caliber of client. And so we had to change her messaging so she could reach a different group of people. And everything's on point. I'm looking at the new brand, it's on point. I'm looking at the system, the signature system we created, it's on point. I'm looking at the breakdown of her coaching program, meaning the curriculum of what she's teaching, it's on point. But I'm like, why aren't we still getting that consistent flow of the right people? We go back to the drawing board and we start looking to see, you know, why isn't she attracting the right people? And it was just a simple fix of changing the way she was speaking, right? So the first thing I said to her is, when is the last time you asked your audience, what do they think you do? So she said November. She said, okay, but I'm going to do it now. That's why I love fast action clients, because as soon as I asked her that same day, she said, I'm going to go now. And she came back and she said, oh, they think that I help people write books. And that's not what she wants to do anymore. So we're like, okay, let's find out why they're thinking that you want to write books. And then when we go to her content, and I'm skipping ahead because we're going to talk about that, but when we go to her content, we find out that what she's talking about is attracting those people she don't want. Does that make sense? So before you can even reposition yourself, you got to know what position you're in. What do people think that you do? How often do you ask your audience that? Okay, so I want you guys to think about that. So the second thing is, so number one, find out where your current position is. Number two, you got to specialize. You got to specialize. So once you figure out, you know, what's my niche? How am I helping people? How can you find that special place in the market where you could just fit? All right. This is something for you to really, really think about. And how I like to specialize is two ways. So one is by having a signature process in how I help people. Because when you have a signature process, see, there's a difference between having a process and having a signature process. Because when you have a signature process, it's only yours, right? So you're the only one that can take people through this process to reach their desired result. So the first way that I do it and I specialize is by creating a signature process, right? But then the second way is by being the difference. How can you position your specialty different from everyone else? So let me tell you how I do this. So you guys know I could teach you for days, but I really feel like it's important for you to understand how this thing works live, and to also understand why you do this so that way you could do it better. So let me show you how I do this live. So I'm not the only one that teach messaging, okay? I'm not the only marketing and income strategist out there for coaches. I'm not the only one that's talking about mastering your message. How I'm real good at it, yeah, but I'm not the only one. But I needed to find a difference. And as I'm helping people over the years with their message, with their stories, with their marketing, I'm like, a trend is starting to come in my head. And I'm starting to feel real animosity to coaches who are making other coaches feel like if they have to rely on social media every day, live streaming, overworking. That's the position I got myself in. And because I got myself in that position, I started to really feel true feelings about this. Okay. So I started to dig in and I'm like, what's different about what I do? How do I see this whole thing differently from everybody else that's teaching what I teach? And here's what I came up with. I help my clients use offline strategies to fuel their online strategies. Okay. And because I've found that space that I believe is very different from what other coaches are teaching, I start to attract people who are looking for exactly what I talk about, which is a way to still reach your profit goals without spending all day on social media, eliminating the competition, without having to be in this atmosphere where you feel like, oh my God, if I don't show up tomorrow, what am I going to do? Right? And being able to put themselves in an offline space where they can go in front of their ideal clients. And when I stumbled upon that and I realized that, wait a minute, I attract baby boomers. I attract people who have 9-to-5 jobs. They don't have time to be on social media all day. They really don't even have the desire to do it. They would love it if it could be done for them, but they still want to be able to reach goals and help people. How can I craft my system where I can help them do that while still teaching and giving them what they need? And I'm just hope that you guys are paying attention. If you're new to me, you might not know my system. Stick around. You're going to learn over the time that we're together. But you guys know about Market Your Message, and you know that that's what I support. I do not, even though I love social media, I'm on social media, I do not believe in my ideal clients slaving on social media and relying on fighting against algorithms to get clients. Okay? So all the strategies that I come up with, it is always with that thought in mind. How am I going to help them save time but still reach the result? So that's my difference. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a yes below if that makes sense to you. So that's my difference. So number one, you got to figure out what position you're in. Okay, you got to figure out how are people seeing you? What do they think you do? Do they think what you want them to think? Because if they don't, then you got to figure out what are you putting out there to have them thinking that, you do one thing when you really want to be known for something else. This is really important. We're talking about positioning here, okay? The second thing is find a specialty, because when you find a specialty and you create a signature process, that is another way of eliminating competition, and people will start to self-select. Right? When people come to me, the first thing they say is, oh my goodness, I say, well, what brought you on the phone today? What made you decide to book the appointment? They'll be like, you know what? Because my message is off. I know it. And I'm just watching you and I'm listening to you and you just was speaking to me. See, and that's what you want. You want clients to be at the point where they know the problem that you solve and they rather come to you than anywhere else because they know that. And the only way you could do that is by specializing and creating a signature process. And then the third thing is finding your difference. Finding your difference, because the reality is you're not the only one to do what you do. So I see Cheryl Jordan is here, right? you're not the only health coach that's working with people over 50, right? There's plenty of health coaches that's working with women over 50. So that's why we have to find our difference. And we have to see what angle is no one talking about, right? What is no one talking about? So for me, because I started off with webinars, it was like everybody around me was talking about webinars too, right? And then I'm competing against, someone like Russell Brunson, who owns ClickFunnels, who has the perfect webinar system that he teaches, right? And here's little old me saying, hey, I'm the queen of webinars, right? But I got to compete against all of that. And I'm realizing, wait a minute, everybody's doing that. I want to do something different. I want to figure out how can I create something different where I'm not following what everyone else is doing. And the minute I did that, things changed. The minute I did that, I found my difference. Okay. And so this is really, really important. What angle can you come from that makes you different? So number 2, which is attract. So we talked about position. Now we're going to talk about attract. So you got to first position yourself. All right. Second thing is you got to be able to attract people to you. Right. So we have coaches who go and they get certified, right? And they think that, clients are just going to come. They're not going to come. You got to be able to attract them to you. There's only 2 things that's going to happen. So they're not going to come. They're not going to come. We could both agree with that, right? But here's the 2 things that would happen. Either you're going to go after them or they're going to come after you. You see how that works? Because they're not either you're going to go after them or you're going to have to position yourself where they're coming after you. So which one would you rather do? All right? Which one would you rather do? So I'm going to stop for a minute because I know that, you guys are coaches and, service providers, but many of you are in different places. So I want to talk to my newbies for 1 minute and then we'll keep going. For those of you who are new to coaching or you're thinking about getting into the coaching industry, in the beginning, I do believe that there's going to be a level of reach out. Okay. And so what I mean by that is for you to get your first 2 or 3 clients, to get your feet wet, to figure out this whole thing and just take action so you can start to figure out what you're really meant to be coaching on. For you to get those first few clients, you are probably going to have to reach out to people. You're probably going to have to come up with a list of people who may need your services, people who you have rapport with already. Reach out and let people know you're in business. Okay. So that's the first thing. I want to make sure you newbies know that. But for those of you who you beating the pavement and you've been at this for years online every day trying to get clients and it's still not working, pay attention to what I'm telling you today, because it's almost positive. It's either you're not positioned to get the right people, you don't know what to say to attract people to you, or you ain't teaching what you need to teach so people could come to you. It's one of the 3 that we're talking about today. All right. Okay. So attract. Let's talk about that. When it comes to attracting people to you, the first thing you need is content. Content makes the world go round, right? The first thing you're going to need is content, because at the end of the day, when people are looking to solve problems, the first thing they do is go to Google. Back in the days, they were going to Yellow Pages, right? Back in the days when you move into a new city and you're looking for a hairdresser, you're going to go and open up the Yellow Pages and you're going to see what hairdressers is around. Now, when you move to a new city, the first thing you're doing is going to Instagram, going to Google, going to Facebook, hair salon near me, right? That's the first thing you're searching, because that's what content drives us now, the internet. That's what makes the world go round. So that means that when somebody goes on Google and they put hair salon near me, if you're not there and you don't show up, that's why the other salons are getting the clients. Does that make sense, guys? And it's the same thing for us coaches online. For me, I teach people, about messaging and marketing. So somebody goes online and they put in how to craft my messaging for my coaching business, and I don't come up at all, then that means I'm not doing something right. I'm not talking about messaging enough. Does that make sense? And how could I say that I'm an expert at messaging and marketing if I'm not talking about it enough? So the content is what's going to get people to come to you. Does that make sense, guys? All right. The content is what's going to get people to come to you. So you got to have content. So a lot of you is like every day you're either showing pictures of your family and, which is cool, but you're not putting out content. So how is people supposed to know what it is that you do? Where's your hours being spent? This is something that we spoke about with my group last night, my market your message clients. And we spoke about this. How many coaches are saying that they're spending all day online, but when you go to your pages, we can't even see no content that reflects that. So what are you doing online? This is something for you guys to really think about if you fall in this category. Okay, so the first thing is you need content. The second thing you need is credibility. And that's not going to come without content and the consistency, which is the third thing you need. So 3 C's under a trap. So you need content, you need credibility, and you need consistency. So remember when we talked about positioning, I said to you, one way that you could position yourself so people can start to self-select and realize what it is you help them with and how you are the only solution is by creating a signature process. Well, let me tell you how creating a signature process kills so many birds with one stone. Because having a signature process also helps you build credibility. Right? So how many of you listen to me and you come every week and you open my emails and you come on my workshops? Why? Because there's trust there. And you know that when I'm talking about messaging or I'm talking about marketing and getting clients, you know that I know what I'm talking about because the credibility is there. And that comes from content and that comes from consistency. It's not only getting published. It's not only writing a book. It's not only having press releases. Credibility can also come by just showing up, giving content, and people start to be like, oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you so much for helping me. Or they come back and they say, I took action on what you said. I read your blog. I took action and such happened. All of a sudden you're building credibility because that person is telling other people the same thing. Now you're getting little testimonials and, posts written in your groups and your social media because you're giving content. Content is important. And the content is what's going to help build your credibility. And while all the other stuff I mentioned of writing books and getting published and press releases and speaking and, getting that one sheet, all of that is great. But there's things you could do right now to start building your credibility. And these are the things that you guys are the simple things that I see a lot of you not doing. The simple things. So a lot of you are stressing to write a book and it's taking you 4 months to write a book when you could be building credibility during this 4 months because you're putting out content and you're being consistent with it. So let me get to the teach part because I'm skipping ahead a little bit. So let me get to the teach part. So we got positioning, we got attract, and now let's talk about teach. So the first thing is in order for you to create content, right? You got to first know what questions people are asking about what it is that you do. Okay? So make sure you guys are writing this down. You got to first know what questions are people asking? What problems are they struggling with as it pertains to what you do? Because that's going to help you create content that people are looking for. So I like to use, health, for example. If I remember when my knee was really, really hurting me, and I'm always somebody that likes to look for natural ways to do things before going to the doctor. That's just my preference, right? And so the first thing I'll always do is go online. So I knew that the reason why my knee was hurting is because I have a lot of inflammation. I knew that, and I came to that conclusion, right? And so the first thing I did is I went online and I said, natural ways, what's some natural ways to get rid of inflammation in your knees? That's what I asked. And when I asked that, all these different information came up that was talking about different natural remedies that takes away inflammation. Another thing that many of you know is that I've started juicing. And I did the same thing. I wanted to come up with recipes for my juices. And I know that one of the things I want to work on is the inflammation in my body. So I said, what vegetables and fruits help with inflammation? I even looked up juice recipes for inflammation. So guys, I'm being real. These are the simple things that a lot of you are not doing. If somebody has a problem that they want to solve and they go and search for it, do you come up? If Instagram is your preferred platform and people are searching for, health coach in Tennessee, are you coming up? That's the simple things that I need you guys to think about. I said that my name or my word, my power word for 2020 for me is like expansion, right? Like really growing and, expanding my business, expanding my network, expanding my dreams, expanding the way I think, everything. But I feel like I need to add another thing there, and it has to be simplicity. And this is not my word for me, but this is my word for many of you. Because many of you are spending so much time on the hard things when there are easy things that you can do right now to attract clients to you. And people are waiting to hear from you, but you're not taking the time to do these simple things, which is positioning yourself, learning how to put out content. And content does not always have to be from scratch. That's another mistake that I see a lot of coaches make. It's like, okay, Nyala, I got to put out content. Okay, let me spend a year and a day trying to create a content plan and put out content. Well, you don't. When you have the questions that people are asking, all you have to do is answer the questions in your content. However, whatever form of content you prefer. Does that make sense? Okay, so number one, what questions are people asking? Number two, you got to give people quick wins. That's the next thing. So some of you are creating content, but your content ain't doing nothing. It's not actionable. It's like, I'm going to just keep talking and preaching to you every day, but you're not giving the actionable content that's going to help people take action. Look at what I'm doing right now. This is actionable content. If you guys are really taking notes and you start to follow what I'm saying, you go out and research and see what questions people are asking. You go out and you poll people and say, well, hey guys, what do you think? When you think of me, what service do you think I provide? When you think of me, how do you think I can help you? See, I'm giving you actionable content, because if you do those things, you'll get the answers. And then when you get the answers and you follow what I'm saying, you're going to see the results from just this live stream that I'm doing with you right now. So not only do you have to create content, figure out the problems that people have. Hey, Dr. Ranelli, how are you, darling? Figure out the problems that people have, but you need to give people quick wins. Nobody just want to learn. They want results. And so when you're able to deliver quick wins, what's going to happen is people are going to self-select. That's what we're talking about today. How to stop begging for clients and what you need to do instead. Okay? Quick wins. So, when I think of quick wins, I think of, if I'm going to sit down and write a post to give you a tip, I want it to be something that I know that if you follow, you're going to see results. You can't control what action people are going to take on your content. There's people that show up here every week and get the content and ain't doing nothing. That's just the reality. You can't control that. What you can control is how you put yourself out there. And for me, I'm not concerned with those who's not going to take action. I'm really concerned with those who are, so I'm going to make sure that I create content. So if for some chance you that person that is going to take the action, I know that you're going to see the result, and that makes me feel good. And see, what happens is that a lot of you think that I'm going to become a coach today and all of a sudden I'm going to get clients tomorrow. No, you have to prove that. You got to prove that you're the person who can help me if you want me to give you my money. And this is why the teach part is my favorite part. This is why you didn't hear me talk nothing about selling or anything. The teach part is my favorite part, because when you have the information and you share the information, people will start to come to you because they start to associate you with that information. Does that make sense, guys? Okay? So you got to give people quick wins. No more content where you're just giving information, because that's how we continue to rebirth information junkies. Okay? So we like to always talk about, you're an information junkie, but we're rebirthing you guys. As coaches, if we continue to just information, and not help people take action and see results, that's why I love challenges. That's why I love summits. That's why I love workshops, because these are the places where you could take action. And I'm not rebirthing information junkies. Got to give people quick wins. Last thing, and this is my last thing before I leave you, and this one is under teach. So 1, you got to know the problems and the questions that people are asking. 2, help them with those and give them quick wins, actionable content. But 3, guys, you got to really care. This is it with the coaching industry. The difference between a service-based entrepreneur and a product-based entrepreneur is that we care. Not saying that product-based entrepreneurs don't care too, but let me explain. With a product-based entrepreneur, you know what product you're providing. Okay, so water. The people who sell water know that they're quenching thirst. People can't live without water, much needed, right? But they're disconnected from this. They're selling this to companies. You know, they will never meet us. They'll never know our name. They'll never know our kid's name, nothing, but they're getting our money all the time. Do you understand? Great company, doing great things, great value, saving the world by giving us water. But it's a product-based business, so it can be more hands-off. But when you're a coach and you're impacting people's lives, I believe that you got to be hands-on. You got to really care. You got to really get to know the people in your communities, the people that's showing up on your lives all the time, the people who are asking the question. Get to know them, really care. Because I'm telling you, in this industry, it's about sowing seed, planting seeds every day. Every time you show up, every time you give content, every time you do that next workshop, that next event, you're planting seeds. And as people grow and they're ready, the person who they're going to think about is you. And that's why the number 3 in attract was consistency. You see how all of this flows, guys? Is this starting to make sense? You see how all of this flows? This is how you put yourself in a position where people come to you. In the beginning, I had to always think about, where am I going to get the next client? Oh my God, what do I need to come up with this week? Because I need to get the next client. And it's been a long time since I've been in that position, because I just create. I create content. I help. I show up. I, do really care about the people in my communities. I focus on my messaging and making sure that I know the problems that my ideal clients are facing, and that I continue to serve those people. And every day the community grows. Every day, someone's writing reply on the email. Every time you put out book a consultation, someone's booking a consultation. And see, I also believe in data. So if every time I get on the phone with someone and I say, well, what made you decide to book a consultation with me? And they say, it's because, well, you were speaking to me. Or they say to me, I really want this strategy to be able to go and, utilize offline, because I've been online all this time and it's slow. When they say that to me, I smile on the outside and the inside, because then I know that I've positioned myself where people know how I can help them. Does that make sense, guys? And that's what you have to do. So let's go through this one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys for today. Let me know below if this was valuable. You guys are here, but you're not really talking. So I'm going to assume you're taking notes, right? Because you're not really chatty this morning. Usually you guys are chatty, right? But I'm going to assume you guys are taking notes. Let me know below if this was valuable. Let me know below if you've been loving Money Marketing Monday with Nyala, if this has been helpful for you. Not only that, do you know that you can suggest topics? Because I'm here every Monday. So feel free to, tell us, what are the things that you want to know about? What are the things you're struggling with and you want to know more of? Okay. So let's go through this one more time. So PAT, P-A-T, position, attract, teach. These are the 3 things you want to do if you want to put yourself in a position where you could stop begging for clients and clients start coming to you. Position, attract, teach. So number 1 under position, and we're just going to go through this really quickly. You guys can look at the replay if you need to take notes. So under position, you need to find out your current position. Find out your current position. What do people see you as? And are they seeing you the way you want them to? If not, what do you need to change to make sure they start seeing you the way you want them to? And that they know you solved the problem you want them to know, okay? Because a lot of times you think, oh, my clients think I'm a marketing strategist, but they think you are Instagram specialist, right? Because maybe you talk about Instagram so much, but you want them to think that it's something else. See what I'm saying? So you got to know, what position do you play? Number 2, you got to specialize, okay? And then number 3, be the difference. So how could you find that place and the easiest way to be the difference is think of your opinions. That's how it is. Like, think of your opinions. So let's say you are a financial coach. Think of your opinions, right? So let's say, you know, there's 10 other people who are focused on investing, right? So under finance, you're focused on investing. You got 10 other coaches that's focused on investing. What are the opinions that you have as it pertains to investing? And how does it differ to what are industry standards? Okay, that's a great way for you to find your difference. That's what helped me, right? So, you know, I went from being this person who was known for social media to being somebody who's telling everybody, no, that's the slow way. That starts to raise eyebrows. Like, wait a minute, what you mean? Everybody else talking about saying that I got to be on here every day and you're saying I'm not. And so what happens is the person who really don't want to, which my ideal clients, they start to come to me because I'm saying what they want to hear. See what I'm saying? So think of your opinions. Number 2, attract. So how do you attract people? Number 1, your content. Number 2, the credibility. And number 3, the consistency. Again, watch the replay if you need this again. Okay, guys? And then teach. That's number 3, teach. So what's under teach? 1, the problems, right? So what questions are people asking as it pertains to what service you provide? Number 2, when you're giving people this content, make sure you're giving them quick wins. How do you do that? By creating actionable content. So no more information junkies. Give them action, right? So there was a client yesterday who said to me, you know, Nyala, I know, she laughed and we all laughed because it's okay. A lot of times you know when you're not doing what you're supposed to do because you know it, you feel it, right? And so last night on the session, we've gone around and everybody's talking about what they've been up to in the last week. And she's like, you know, all this time I've been going and I've been speaking and I'm not giving a call to action. I just tell people, here's my number, call me if you need me, right? And we all started laughing because we know, like, what? You got to give the action, right? Because the action is where you challenge people, right? And the action is also where you're going to see the results. So you don't only want to teach, you want to make sure that you're giving them those quick wins and you're giving them actionable content. And then lastly, really care. Like, really care about your people. Follow up. Like, for example, I did an interview with one of my clients the other day, like a research interview. And I asked her, well, I said, what was one of the reasons why you decided to buy? That was one of the questions on our research packet, right? And she said to me, well, she gave me a few reasons, but then she said, lastly is because I felt like you really cared, Nyala. I said, really? Why? She said, because you would follow up. Like after the challenge, it was weeks after the challenge, and you came back and you asked me how my challenge went. You was concerned, right? And so for me, that comes natural because I really do care about people. But when you hear someone say that, it's like, wow, it's noticed. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not even doing it to be noticed, but it's noticed and it's actually someone's buying decision. It actually was a part of her buying decision why she decided to join a high-end program with me. See, so you got to really actually care about your people. That's what leadership is. And that's why I love working with coaches and service professionals versus product-based businesses. There's a lot of product-based businesses, they're focused on, I need to make the numbers, I need to make the sales. But with coaches and with us, we want to impact, you know? We're focused on how many people we can help. And so that's the reason why in the beginning I said, those of you who have an issue with promoting yourself, don't like to feel like you're pushy, those of you, my strategies are for you. Because the way I teach is really just being able to teach what you know, share your knowledge, really care about people, but also give them the opportunity to work with you, right? Give them the opportunity to work with you, okay? All right, I'm out of here. Okay, let me see. Hey, Cynthia, sorry came late. Well, glad that you're here. Make sure that you look at the replay. Hey, Danella, how are you, darling? It has been great. Awesome. So those of you who are on the replay, if you have any comments, any questions, anything, leave it below. Those of you who are here with me live, I'm glad that you're here. I have 2 things to say before I go. Number 1, make sure that you register for the summit. And even if you're registered already, help me share it, okay? So we have awesome speakers from Exodus, Justin, April, Amber, Aziza, Marquel Russell, Sean Douglas. I mean, we got some amazing speakers. one of my all of them were great, but one of my favorite things that happened as I was doing these interviews, I was interviewing Bob Sparkins, who is the lead evangelist at Lead Pages. If you guys don't know what Lead Pages is, check it out. You guys, if you guys are in this group, you should. And so when we were doing the interview, we were talking about why we were talking about something similar to today. And we're talking about why a lot of coaches, their stuff is falling on deaf ears. And one of the things that he said to me, which I'm not going to give you all, you got to be on them interviews, but I'm going to tell you this. He said, the reason why is because a lot of coaches are focused on getting clients instead of being focused on getting leads. And I was like, I could have said it better. So he said the reason why, and this is what I was talking about when we first started, when I said, I look at people on social media and every day you're like, book an appointment. Why? They don't know you yet. You haven't even proved that you could do anything. Why would they book an appointment with you? You got to worry about, take steps. You got to get the lead. You got to get them in your group. You got to get them on your list. You got to give content. You got to nurture them. You got to share your stories. You got to teach them and show them. A lot of times you're like, how do I get clients? Stop telling people you can help them and actually help them. Anyway, so that interview was really good. So if you haven't registered, make sure you register. The second thing I have for you is that we are accepting 3 people into the Market Your Message program right now before we open after the summit. So after the summit, we're going to officially open for the first time for the year at our new price, which we spoke about at the end of last year. But right now we're accepting 3 people into the Market Your Message program. If you are a coach or service professional who wants to accelerate your results, you want to structure your business, and you want to be able to create the things that we spoke about today, that signature process, the stories, the things that you need to be able to consistently attract and sign high-paying clients, then click the link in the title and book your appointment with me, okay? So the appointments are $97. And that's another way that we wean out people who are action takers, people who are serious, okay? But if you are accepted in the program, then that $97 will go towards your first payment, okay? So that's what I have for you today. Guys, thank you so much for being with me for another Money Marketing Monday with Nyala. And I'll see you guys next week, okay?